Here with the Bloodshots from Winnipeg, Canada. How's it going, guys?
Great.
Good.
Thriving in this heat wave, Canadian heat wave.
Thanks for having us, Dave.
Of course, anytime. Better than freezing your butt off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So let's jump right into it. So when and how did you guys form?
We formed in 2013. Me and our rhythm guitar player, Keith, we went to high school together, and we always played in other bands and everything, and we talked a lot about always doing our own project, right? Like we had always kind of joined bands that weren't really ours, and so we wanted to start a band, so we did in 2013, and the rest is history, man.
Short, simple, right to the point. I love it. No messing around.
Nope.
So you guys just released a new song, Babe Blues. How's the response been to it?
It's been great. It's been really, really good. We get lots of compliments on just like the strong hook that it has, and lots of almost like an ominous, mysterious meaning behind. Like you think Bay Blues, you think of San Francisco, because there's a couple lyrics in there even saying San Francisco, and there's a bit of a story kind of behind that, and that we saved to tell at our live shows. But we've been promoting it to lots of radio personnel, doing even a little bit of a cast along fans, and nothing but great responses. It's definitely a crowd favorite every time we play it live. Lots of people are starting to recognize that song, and we think it's going to do really, really well in radio.
Yeah, when we it's always a good tell when you try something live for the first few times. If you could notice like some of the crowd moving to it already, or like picking up on some of the words, you're like, got him.
Yeah.
Got him hooked. You're reeling them in.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the best. That is the absolute best. So who do you guys record it with, and how's the process?
We record with we use private ear studios here where we live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. John Paul Peters owns and engineers, mix, masters, everything there. He's worked with bands like Comeback Kid and Death Cab for Cutie, and of course Propagandy. So we've worked with him a lot in the past, and he has a new guy in the studio named Derek Benjamin, and Derek did a lot of the engineering on this one and kind of got in on some ideas for some stuff too. And he did all the mixing, and JP did the mastering, and yeah, that's usually our go-to.
That's awesome. So you guys are from Winnipeg, Canada. How's the punk rock alternative scene there? Do you guys have a favorite local band, favorite venue?
The scene is the scene's up and down. It thrives like crazy for 1 year or whatever at a certain point in time, and then it seems like it dies down eventually. But it's good. There's a lot of punk bands here in the city, and I think you can thank pioneer bands like Propagandy, right, for being from Winnipeg and getting signed to Fat Records back when they did. It definitely grew the punk scene here.
Yeah, one of the great venues here in Winnipeg that you can definitely catch a lot of, especially up and coming punk bands. One's a place called Osborne Tap House, and this one place that actually takes a lot of smaller bands, but that's where you see a lot of the punk scene. And also definitely a favorite of mine to watch live bands, and lots of touring acts come through, is called the Park Theater, and it's a bigger venue. It's probably one step lower than the Burt, which is where a lot of the record label acts go, but a lot of metal bands go through the Park Theater, a lot of big touring bands, and it's a really just renovated it, and it's a beautiful space. Definitely one of the big favorites for any band coming through Winnipeg is lots will book at the Park Theater.
Yeah, and it's got great sound now. They put the money into into the sound system, and you could tell.
That's the best, and it's the worst when you go to a venue and the sound ends up being like complete garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we've been there.
And you feel like your ears are gonna bleed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching, there's one venue in Winnipeg called the Pyramid Cabaret. And the last time we played there, I was in the crowd and I literally was watching people with two hands, like covering their ears right in the middle of the dance floor. And you would think the sound guy would notice like a large amount of people covering their ears, like, hey, maybe I should peel it back a little bit. No, like, no, I just kept it going, kept it as loud as possibly could. I had the worst ring in my ears I've ever had.
Yeah.
Maybe that sound guy probably lost his hearing. It's like, oh, I can't hear it. That's
He was just in his own world.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
The
that's funny.
70s.
Yeah. So, who are your biggest influences?
Ben, you want to go first?
Yeah. I mean, I'm 37 years old. And when I was kind of coming through school, I was definitely into more like a pop punk kind of scene. My favorite band, probably my first ever CD I ever owned was Sum 41. That was my first ever. And I mean, they've done definitely a number for themselves, but that's got really introduced me to definitely the rock. And I guess at that time they were known for being kind of punk-esque, right? They were doing All Kill and No Filler and Chuck and Does This Look Infected. And I really liked the speed. I liked the energy that they brought. And that was something that always inspired my drumming a lot. Another one that I really, really like is I've always liked Green Day. I like how one of my first bands and first garage projects I ever did was very riff rocky, and it was very guitar oriented, but not for solos, but because of the sweet guitar riffs that was in there. And I kind of identify with that because as a drummer, I want to be part of the rhythm. I want to be part of the band. I know no one's coming to see a Bloodshot show to watch the drummer. That's not what I wanted anyways. And and I'm okay with that. That's absolutely fine. I would rather, and I have a lot more to contribute as a part of the whole, to drive the rhythm, to drive the train. And that's kind of what I saw from bands like Sum 41 and Green Day and Offspring and things like that. That was the era that I grew up in.
Well, and myself and Keith, we we were big fans of the sound of the 90s. Hey, like I was a really big fan of the grunge scene, right? Your Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Nirvana, even Stone Temple Pilots. But I brought that to the picture, and Keith brought a more like almost kind of a Rolling Stones kind of vibe to it. And we put everything that we had that influenced us together, and it came out Bloodshots, man.
So here's the $1 million question for you. If you could tour with one of those bands, which one?
Well, mine are pretty much all dead from that list.
Yeah, that was the comeback question. Alive or dead? Man.
Yeah.
Well, we do this. The first ever show I played with the Bloodshots was Nirvana tribute. And it's funny, after that and through all the years I've kind of known them, we talk about, and when we show each other our music list, when we're on the road and we let someone have charge of the playlist and whatever, we show each other our influences and music that's good. And it's funny, even just a couple of years of difference in age, it's completely different things. If a Nirvana was still around and going, I would absolutely love that. I'm a Dave Grohl fan. I'm a big Dave Grohl fan. I've read his books, just his storybook I just finished. And even he was just talking about when he was coming up in the punk scene about with his band Scream before Nirvana even came with it, and just the importance of kick, snare, hat, that kind of thing. I would love to be able to play with Dave Grohl if there's ever an opportunity to do that. And I would love some 41, but that's I know that might not be the same genre that Bloodshots kind of identify as, but yeah, if there's some Dave Grohl, I'm in.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing about our sound too is, we also came up with No Effects and Pennywise and Rancid and Strung Out and Millencolin and all those punk bands really fueled about 6-7 years of my life just skateboarding around the streets, right? And I wasn't any good at skateboarding, but man, when you had those tunes in your ears, it was like you had to be skateboarding. But if I had to pick one band from back when to tour with, maybe I'm with Ben. Maybe a Nirvana would be cool. I just liked how they kind of didn't take themselves too seriously, and I kind of think that's a lot like us too. Like all we do is rip on each other constantly and play our music, man. Like we just love to do it.
They were a group that were kind of celebrating being a bit weird and different, eh? And that's I kind of like to celebrate a little bit of that too. It's not conventional. It's not always cookie cutter. It's just room for experimentation and room for freedom, room for flexibility, room for expression, really, of music. That's why I love playing in the Bloodshots.
Those are the best kind of people. That's
I
what
agree.
I tell people all the time.
I agree.
What about you, Dave? What about you?
It's funny because like I feel like every single time a band asks me this question, I always go with a different answer. So the other day, it's so tough because there's so many bands I think I would really enjoy touring with. So the other day I said set your goals. So I think today I'm gonna switch it up and go with somebody different. I think I'm gonna go with Newfound Glory. I think Newfound Glory would be a lot of fun. I think, they seem like they're really cool guys and like very like genuine, sincere. They're in it for the right reasons. And I think with me, learning how to play drums, like I just started learning how to play drums. I think it'd be cool to be able to like watch Cyrus and like get some like pointers from him. Because he's one of the best drummers out there and he shreds behind the kit. So I think that would be really sick.
Absolutely. Great choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, gotta go with my childhood.
Nice. Love it.
So now I'm going to ask you guys some non-music questions. It's a good way for me to get to know you as individuals. I did this with the other bands. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. First one, favorite season?
Summer.
Fall, autumn.
Yeah, you're speaking my language. I'm all about the heat.
Yeah.
All about the heat.
Summer means outdoor festival time. That's why I like it.
This is true in a million shows.
Yep.
And touring and going to the beach and all the fun stuff.
Oh yeah. That's where I live.
So if you had the opportunity to either go back in time or go to the future, which one?
Ooh. Well, yeah. Okay. So if I go back in time, I feel like I would change all the things I did wrong and try and have a perfect life. Kind of like some kind of Back to the Future kind of thing. And if I mess up, then my picture's going to disappear or something. I don't know. I feel that's too risky. So, no, I'd still go back in time. Yeah, I think all the knowledge that I picked up now, I'd love to be able to use it back then. If I knew then what I knew now, kind of mentality. That's what I think.
What about you, CJ?
Oh, is he there? Did he freeze?
CJ, you get that?
CJ, I think you froze, bud. I don't know what he's nodding at.
Oh, I'm there.
CJ, did you get the question?
Yeah. What was that?
Did you get the question or no?
Okay.
No.
How about now?
All right. So if you had the opportunity
Can you
to
see
go
me
back
now?
in time, what's that?
No.
If you had
what
the
was it?
opportunity, what's that? Did you get the question or no?
No, I missed it.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah, future. Yeah, future. I'd go future.
Interesting. Any specific reason, or you just think it'd be cool?
I want to see like I feel like the world is so weird right now, where like it could all like be in a nuclear war, or we could be, you know what I mean? I want to see what we become. Do we become those weird gray alien things?
Okay, touche.
Because our planet got too hot and we need to adapt? Do we be lizards? Like, I want to know what happens.
Interesting.
I like these questions.
Trying to keep things interesting and keep you guys on your toes. So if you guys could go back in time and talk to one world leader or person of influence, who would it be?
Oh. Oof. Good. Oh man. Oh, I don't know. I don't
What
know
else you
actually.
got?
I guess
Come on.
I guess I kind of wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind Mandela. I liked watching his doc. I like reading about him, and I was kind of a big fan of what he did. So I think I'd just like to pick his brain, not really ask questions or try to change the course of time, really. But I mean, I try to be as best as I possibly can, be a good ally for all marginalized communities, and I feel like he would have a lot to say about that. So I think Mandela probably in my mind. Yeah, that's a hard question. I've never thought about that. I'm not really much of a politics guy. I mean, I vote and try to be a participating citizen, but I've never been much to try and engage in conversation with politics really that much. We watch definitely from afar the American politics. We that's all over the news here. We probably talk about the American politics more than we do Canadian, anyways. But but I have I try to stay out of that one. But
I feel you.
Can you repeat it?
So if you go back in time and talk to one world leader or person of influence, who would it be?
Ooh.
I know, right? That's a deep.
Yeah. Oh, one person or world leader. Maybe Hitler. And then I would be like, I don't know, bro. Maybe you just need to chill. Like, maybe you need more vacations or something. Like, maybe you have a lake house. Like, have you ever been to the lake? Like, get out of this bunker and stop acting crazy and lay off the meth.
I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Hugs, not drugs.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe he just needed a hug, and then all the genocide wouldn't happen. I mean, maybe.
That's right.
You never know.
Yep.
Real.
Damn, that's a good answer.
Maybe he would have turned into like Adolf, the orphanage builder, or something.
Damn. Your answer kicked the shit out of mine. Well played.
So if you guys had $1 million and you could donate to any charity, which one?
I would do up here in Canada, we have and you guys also had it in the US, but I come from indigenous descent, and they had residential schools back, these things called residential schools, where they just basically kidnapped indigenous children and brought them there to try and make them assimilate to, the Catholic way of life. And they were abused, they were killed, they were raped, all kinds of horrible things. And I think I would put the $1 million to a fund for the, survivors of residential schools.
Yeah, I'm actually, that was my first thought too. It's very similar to CJ. Here in Winnipeg, especially Manitoba, and all across Canada, we have a large Indigenous population, and who's gone through all those struggles, of anything from drug addiction to trauma, sexual trauma, everything. And we have a lot of houseless folks in Winnipeg, particularly a large poverty area. And it's been a very hot pressing topic for a long time of trying to provide, instead of more funding to be given to police, instead trying to provide more mental health supports or supports in those senses, and trying to get people kind of back on their feet. So very similar, CJ. I would probably be doing something very similar. I don't have any experiences myself. My wife is Indigenous. My friends are Indigenous, and I want to be a support as much as I can to show allyship. It's important to us here in Canada.
Right on. All right, last question. What are some places in Winnipeg that visitors should check out?
I'd say number one, the Forks. It's got a rich history of fur trading, and back where they did trade, where the rivers forked at, and it's been there for, I think, over, I don't even know how many 100 years.
Long time.
And now it's just, they've developed it into such a great place. So I'd say the Forks for one, and you got to check out a Winnipeg Jets game if it's winter.
Absolutely. Go Jets go. That's a big one. That's a big one for us. Are you a Devils fan? You're in New Jersey.
I am a Devils fan. So I was born and raised in New Jersey, and now I live in Hershey. I lived in Jersey for 23 years. So I tell people all the time, I'm from Jersey. I'm a Jersey boy. And so the Devils are my team. And so I don't have a problem with the Jets, since the Devils and Jets are, in different conferences, and then they're not rivals.
Yeah. The Devils are okay by us. Devils are okay by us. We can share. We can splits.
It could be worse. It could be worse. I could be a Canadians fan, or I could be, somebody like that.
The Leafs.
Or like or Calgary. I could be Calgary or Edmonton or one of those teams.
Oh yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. I was going to say also, I would add the Human Rights Museum. I know it's kind of a bit dorky because it said the word museum in it, but it's honestly it's very fantastic. Only one of its kind in Canada. They put it right in the center of it in Canada, and it is so huge. It's like there's 8 levels of it, and it teaches you just everything history from the beginning of time all the way to present time about the human rights movement and how things came to be, and it tells you lots of stories. It's a very, very cool place, very huge. They have lots of exhibits about different things it's definitely, you Google Winnipeg, you'll see the Human Rights Museum as one of the big first pictures. It's big. It's good place to see. Go visit.
That sounds dope. I'm a big museum guy, so count me in.
Then you'd love it. You'd love it.
Dorks unite.
So when I get one of these days when I get up there to visit you guys, you can take me to not just the museum, but a Jets game and to the rest of those places.
All of it.
Let's do it.
Hit up a show too.
Maybe when the Devils come play here.
Sounds good. I'll have to start looking at tickets for plane tickets.
Yeah, buddy.
They shouldn't be too expensive. A couple $100.
Oh, not even that.
That idea, Dave. We got to make it happen. I love it. I'd love to meet you.
My goal is to see every single person that's in a band that I'm friends with. So, I mean, I know that's impossible, but a guy can really try. So I'm going to start with you guys and then work my way around.
Yeah.
Australia, France, Japan, all over the place.
You'll love Winnipeg. It's all right. It's pretty good.
Really quick.
I've heard good things about it.
If I lose you guys, I'm on 1%. So thank you, Dave. Everybody stream the new single, Bay Blues, everywhere you stream music. And subscribe to us everywhere. Follow us at the Bloodshots 204 on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. And yeah, CJ signing off. But Ben, Dave, it's been
Until
good.
next time, really appreciate the support. It means the world. And see you soon.
Yeah, we'll share anything you got, buddy.
See you, bud.
Peace.
You
I really appreciate you coming on, Ben, and the support means the world to me. And we'll be in touch, and looking forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah, man, looking forward to it. Thanks for everything that you do to bring a little light to all bands and everything music. The work that you do is really important, dude. It's you have a really great way of showcasing many people's talents and their passions, and really appreciate what you do.
Of course, anytime. You guys keep me going. I mean, there's times where I'm frustrated with like the algorithm and all that, but then you know when I start thinking about like you guys and how I have to like keep helping you guys get your music out there and your faces and brands and all that, then it motivates me to keep going. So thank you so much.
Of course, dude. Anytime.
Well, I hope you have a great night, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah, sounds good, Dave. Thanks so much.
Peace.
See ya, man.